Victor Philip Harmon. I am the Eaton in the show, technically speaking. Vic is just kind of a lonely, kind of sad guy that is ready to kind of end his life, but wants to do it with a little bit of meaning. And I have met Terry online, and we've made a really cool plan on how that's going to end.
I play Terry, and Terry is somebody who likes to keep everything under control or give the appearance that he's in control, and has found the idea of eating somebody else fascinating and found Vic online, and so is hoping that everything will go exactly the way he wants.
I love that for Vic, there's this vulnerability of wanting to end his life, but not wanting to do it alone and not wanting to be a problem to someone. So he's come up with this very unique, very strange way to end his life, but to end it kind of on a mystery and completely on his own terms, and to do it with somebody that he feels like he has a genuine connection with. I think that is that vulnerability and that kind of softness. It's so tragic, but it's so sweet. I love that about Vic.
I think for me, my favorite thing about this show has been, I feel like I've really been able to bring out certain, and this, I don't want this to come off in like a weird way, but like certain parts of myself that, you know, that don't really get to be explored, and so it's like getting to explore it on stage, and it's almost like channeling that darkness for the purposes of entertainment. So for me, this show is deeply cathartic and spiritual. It's just very powerful to be able to play a part like this and to play in a story like this. I've never done anything like this before. I'm typically in comedies, and so to be in something completely out of my element is just so fun for me.
True crime, I think, was a big one. I think it's really interesting that the person that Vic is based on doesn't have a Wikipedia page. So for this person to want his life to mean something and end his life to mean something, and he is basically erased. Like, there's no story of the actual person that died and was eaten. The story is about who Terry is based off of. So doing that kind of research and just trying to find out something about the character that Vic is based on was really interesting. There's not a lot out there. Of course, this took place in Germany, so there's not a lot of information anyway. There's not a lot of the court cases or anything like that, but just kind of looking in and trying to figure out like what brought Vic to this kind of situation, what made Vic look at, what was it, Cannibal Forum? Something like that is what the website was. Like, looking into that and just being like, oh, there's nothing there. So really kind of deciding what brings him there. I think trying to understand why somebody would want to kind of go down this route has been very interesting to kind of explore.
I'm also a perfectionist, and Terry's a perfectionist, and so I think, and if to my fellow perfectionists out there, we all know that we have those inner critics in our heads that tell us, you know, this has to be this way, this, and so, you know, my whole life has been, you know, struggling to fight that inner critic, and so for this show, it's really been about tapping into it and letting it take over. Which has been really fun. It's like a good outlet for it, you know. So I guess my research has been a little bit more internal, and I just kind of, like, with all that perfectionist style, I take a look at, you know, characters like Hannibal Lecter and also Patrick Bateman from American Psycho, and I kind of pull all that in while also taking into account that there's a little bit more of a human element to Terry here, and so bringing that all together has been kind of what I've been doing to prepare for this role.
Not what a lot of theaters are doing. It's a very unique story. It's also based on a true life story that you don't see a lot of, but it has a working kitchen, and there's humor and kind of softness to it. I think that advertising, it's like, oh, this is going to be this intense show, but there's a very sweet softness to these two characters, and there's an element of connection and romance, but also, you know, a lot of hilarious moments. I mean, if you like edgy stuff, I think you should come and see it. I think it's fun. It's a fun show.
Like I said, I think this story really humanizes people we tend to demonize a lot. And not to say that, you know, cannibalism is justified in any way, but like, you really start to empathize with people who are deemed typically as villains in traditional stories. And this is not a traditional story in any sense of the word. This is a very unique story Sorry, just unique story. You'll see why I said it that way. But it's, I think this is really starting to pull at that thread of narrative that's beginning to grow in the sense that there's a lot of gray in being human. There isn't this black and white. There's tragedy and there's comedy. The genres are really all starting to blend in the show, and that's what I really appreciate about it. And that's why y'all should come see it, because it's avant-garde.
Absolutely. Since I actually live in Lawrence and this theater is in Lawrence, my favorite meal is probably Gramboli's Pizza in Oklayon, which is right near here. I love Gramboli. I'm sorry, it's Graham's now. Graham's Pizza is my favorite meal. That and Rice King on Johnson Pike. I'm an East Sider at heart.
My favorite meal is from childhood, now that I think about it. Like, it's not literally the best thing I've eaten, but it is my favorite meal because there's so many memories that are attached to it. And it's my mom's breakfast burritos. And the way she just makes them is so perfect for me. And she taught me the recipe, and now I know how to make them, and so I do it for myself every once in a while. And it's just, that's just a delightful meal. So.